Last week on Training Continues, Grant Broggi and the Strength Co. have now completed the transition from barbell gym into a business that looks entirely different. But while it adapts to the times, the cornerstones of the Strength Co. remain the same: the ethos of a Marine and the philosophy of a strength coach.
I wanted to do something that was bigger than myself. I'd thought about it a lot in high school. I'd thought a lot about it at the Citadel. But I just, I never did it. I was sitting in one of the quarries and I got in a book called One Bullet Away by Nathaniel Fick. He's about a guy that joined the Marine Corps, got up tuned and deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan early on in the campaign. And I remember finishing the book, closing it, going to Marines.mil, looking at the closest OSO. Just so happened I walked in there on September 11th, 2011. And I went in and they said, hey, take a seat. I'm gonna put on this video, and we'll kind of show you like what the Marine Corps is all about. And I said, sir, I don't need to watch a video. I'm already convinced. I'm in. And the gunnery sergeant, who's like at the desk over there, he's like, about time. And they were like, about time we had one like that, sir, or something like that. And then they're like, okay, well, we need this list of stuff, that we emailed you. You need to get that back to us. And I had a folder all organized, and I said, it's right here.
And thus began Grant's career as a Marine from 2012 to 2019, traveling around the world, serving a tour in Afghanistan, and now a reserve. And while the basic values of the Marines applied to the Strength Co. as a barbell gym, being a devil dog also prepared Grant for the Strength Co. as a shipping and manufacturing plant.
In a Marine background, you move stuff, right? Whether it's you're moving ammunition, or you're moving people, or you're moving vehicles, or you're moving chow, or you're moving bullets. I mean, it's like you're constantly thinking about real items that have to get from point A to point B on this time schedule so that the mission can get accomplished. And it's the same thing. I mean, we're moving different things now, but it's the same exact process. And most, you have to think about it in terms of, okay, the steel squat rack has to get from here to here, broken down, put in a box, then it has to go from here to there. Then now UPS has it. What's the size of my box? Is it gonna fit on a conveyor belt? Does it gonna take a freight truck? Can it fly? You have to think about real items moving around, and I mean, that's fun to me. And timeliness.
It's all logistics.
It's all logistics, yeah.
Everything's logistics.
Everything's logistics. Squat, logistics, down and up.
During his service, Grant happened upon the book and training philosophy called Starting Strength, written by Wichita Falls native Mark Rippetoe, or Rip, a man who would go on to be one of Grant's mentors and friends.
This is the first email I ever sent to Rip. It was March 15th, 2014. I emailed him at 4:19 a.m. I think I was deployed. Hey, I was in Fort Sill, and my buddy Jim, gave me your book. I read the book, I watched your DVDs, I did all that stuff. And then I tell him a story about training a bunch of Marines. And I said, we have a lot of sayings regarding the squat. For example, I say, it's only a squat if, and the Marines all reply with, hip creases below parallel, or at in line with the patella. I mean, we had every Marine was reading that book. I was ordering books, having them shipped to Afghanistan, giving them to every Marine, reading practical programming, and just real-time application. It's his iron gospel, right? It's his his messaging, and he cares about it.
Enter Mark Rippetoe, better known as Rip.
Right? That's wrong. That's not how we clean. We clean here. So if you are not in this position, up on your toes, leaning back a little bit with knees and hips fully extended, with perfectly straight elbows, every clean must go through that position.
And the guy just loves to eat, so it's a lot of fun to go to restaurants with him.
You guys gonna eat again or not?
I don't think he eats breakfast, so it's like all day you're just thinking about like what are we gonna eat for dinner. Just talks about it all day. It's pretty fun.
The gumbo's, I mean, it's so good.
You got to make this. Make it now. Come on, make it. Try to make your feet and the bar simultaneous. So it's not bam, bam, it's bam, all right?
I like the fact that this guy called right away and said that he's always at work.
That he's what?
Always at work.
Always at work.
So
All right.
that's good.
Good for him.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So-
that's excellent.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. What?
If you want to eat in Wichita Falls, you go to Dallas. That place is good.
Okay.
They got real good ribs.
Hey, what do we get, guys?
Fatty brisket, pork ribs, 3 house sausages, smoked, cream corn, fruit salad, pepperoncinos, coleslaw. Those aren't that important stuff.
My God, that's a rib. Everything I learned that allowed me to begin coaching anyone in terms of the physics and method, I think there's a big human effort that I've learned over my whole life, but in terms of like the method, I mean, everything I learned from him. I built my business on the back of Starting Strength, and I'm very grateful to that. And, I'm very loyal to Rip for that.
The other Strength co-coaches were also drawn to Rip's strength training philosophy.
Basically took a year off from coaching football and just hit the internet, hit the books, started studying, decided to pursue an education in strength conditioning, and then I found Starting Strength, and it just clicked and made sense to me.
To me, strength was sort of the cornerstone to being fit and healthy. And so that's really why I wanted to become a coach.
I believe, the number one thing people can do for enjoyment of life and for longevity is to get strong. I also believe that's backed up by science.
When I started Starting Strength, I really wanted to learn how to barbell train. And I met a guy named Paul Horn. I actually didn't know what Starting Strength was probably until 3 or 4 months into it. He kind of told me, hey, this is actually like a program and like a book that people do. I was like, oh, I just thought you do all this, out of nowhere. He's like, no, there's a book.
It's efficiency, it's simplicity. It wasn't very flashy or sexy, but it made sense to me and it seemed like it could work for the most amount of people. So discovered that, read the book, tried to do it myself. A couple weeks, hit a wall, thought I was doing it right, and then luckily there was this Starting Strength gym in my area. I had no idea. I saw him on like Instagram, and it was called the Strength Co. And at the same time, they were looking for an intern, so reached out to him, had a coffee with Grant. We talked it over.
Before opening a brick and mortar gym, Grant sharpened his coaching skills by applying his new fitness philosophy to the younger generation, giving back to where it all began for him.
Yeah, so I was looking for a way to train Marines and prepare them for combat, and they needed to be physically fit, able to move a lot of stuff, able to wear a lot of gear, and able to sustain operations for a long time. And I had been doing the program Starting Strength, so I started coaching the Marines under me. I want you to look right here at the ground, take a big breath of air in and hold it, look down on the ground, breathe up, breathe in and hold it. Sit back, point your nipples at the floor and squat. Go ahead. And come up. Okay, what do we see? He led with this. He lifted the bar up. What do we want to see him squat with? His ass, right? Right here. This is the first thing that comes up. We became known as the strongest group, the battery at the time, around. Everyone knew it, and more Marines started doing this. Because the goal is to get stronger. The goal is to move around and be able to twist and not injure my back. So I want all of this muscle mass to get used. So when we teach you to squat today, we're going to teach you how to squat with your hips. I told my coach on the way up here, the number one thing we want to teach you guys today is how to use your hips in the squat. That's the most important thing because that's where the muscle is. Go back down. And that's where I got my coaching experience. Later on, I had my garage set up, and I was a Starting Strength coach, and people, just started looking at my listing. And next thing I knew, I had all these people coming into my garage, and I thought, man, Orange County needs this. Really, everyone needs this, but I'm here in Orange County, and we can influence that.
When you see the Strength Co., 2 unassuming gyms in the beige concrete sprawl of Orange County, look beyond the steel bars and plates, and you will see the ambitions of a young Marine fused over time and space with the philosophy of a Texan strength trainer, creating a community of mental and physical well-being.
Because when you train with barbells, you not only get physically stronger, but you get mentally stronger. And we think that that's something you should do, and we know it's true because we've seen it over and over again with people. And right now, the number one feedback we get from people is that they're very happy that they're still able to train.
Right now I'm a teacher without a classroom and trying to struggle with that, and I'm a coach without a gym, physical gym. And so training just allows me to kind of release some of that pressure and focus on something else for an hour and a half, which is important.
I mean, I think it's really important. I know for myself and several of the people that are lifting here are saying that they feel very lucky, very blessed that we've been getting to train and continuing to stay strong and trying to increase strength. So everybody's working hard.
Training really gets my whole life in gear.
There's a sport that I found, whether physical or mental, that combines both, and I really believe in the starting strength method, and what you guys at the Strength Core are doing is really awesome.
Lately I've been feeling sad and overwhelmed by everything that I see in the news. But whenever I train, I get happy because I get to focus on something that gives me a sense of purpose and gives me a sense of accomplishment.
Barbell training is important for me because it keeps me grounded, really, right now, especially when you're at home with kids. It can get a little bit challenging, it can get a little bit tough, but it helps you keep you physically strong, but also mentally stable, which is super important.
There's a lot of times people go to deadlift and they just think that they can't pick it up off the ground. And they go down and a coach is there who coaches them how to do it, and they lift a weight they thought wasn't possible.
You know, as Rip talks about, to get under a squat that you don't know you can do takes a lot of courage. And you're gonna find out one way or the other. And it takes a lot of guts to be able to get under the bar and step back and unrack a weight, and you don't know if it's gonna go back up or not. And I think we really learn a lot from that process.
And it's the same thing right now. A lot of people wake up right now and they think, what am I gonna do? I have to stay at home, I've lost my job. But with a strong mind, I think you find that you can do a lot more than you think.
Next week on Training Continues, as America talks of slowly reopening, Gunny gets a promotion.
That's going to get a lot of use today.
Also, we check in with other local small businesses to see who has sank and who has swam. Find out next week on Training Continues.